today we are going to cover consumer demand analysis under business economics, right? I'll add the explanation link and the index in the description so you can directly go to the relevant topic. Let's get started. So what is concept of consumer demand? So we see consumer demand is based on three factors. One is decisiveness, transitivity and non-satiation. Decisiveness means the consumer is not rational. So he is like, okay, I will take this product for now, but his decision is not fixed. Okay, he might change his decision at any point of time. So this decision is a very vague or fatigue in the mindset of a customer. So this we call that as a decisiveness. Next is the transitivity. So preference of consumer is consistent, is the assumption. Okay, so a consumer demand is assessed or is calculated based on this factor that preference of consumer is going to be same for the small period of time. Then is non-satiation, that is consumer is never satisfied with whatever product he is asking or whatever product the supplier is providing it in the market. So decisiveness, transitivity, non-satiation are three major factors which determines the consumer demand. Next is a utility as a basis of consumer demand. So here, like for everything we have a measurement unit. So to understand or to calculate the satisfaction of a customer, we are considering a measurement unit called util. So here util means the amount of satisfaction that a consumer is having after buying or consuming a specific product. Okay, so total utility means sum of utility derived by consumer from different units at a given time. So if individual consumer consumes 4 units of commodity, the total utility is the satisfaction that the consumer got by consuming each commodity, like the sum of all the satisfaction that he got from each commodity. Okay, that is U1, U2, U3, 4. So if consumer consumed XYZ commodities, then the total utility is the total utility or the total satisfaction that a consumer got is satisfaction of X plus satisfaction of Y plus satisfaction of Z. Here I forgot to mention plus, but that is Ux plus Uy plus Uz, right? Next, the marginal utility. So what marginal utility says that, let's understand it by an example. For first time when you bought a commodity, the first unit of a commodity, not first time, the first unit of commodity. Okay, let's say you bought first Kurkure packet. At that time you were satisfied with the amount 10 utils. When you buy the same Kurkure for the next time or the next unit of the Kurkure, at that time you are not as much satisfied as you were satisfied compared to the first one. So this time your satisfaction level is 8. You buy one more, that is 6. So here marginal utility is the difference between the utility when you bought it for the next time. Okay, so let's see the definition. Defines the utility derived from the marginal to additional unit of commodity. So it says you bought the first, then you bought the second, so that difference, okay, that delta is our marginal utility. So how we calculate this? So first, suppose first time you bought it, your satisfaction is 10. Now you bought one more unit which gave you satisfaction to 8. Okay, so here 10 plus 8 is 18. So our total utility for the first time was 10. Our total utility for the second time is 18. Now to find the marginal utility of second time, we subtract 18 minus 10. That is 8 will be our marginal utility. Now what the law of diminishing marginal utility says? We know what is marginal utility. That is the difference between the satisfaction that we got initially then compared to what we got when we bought the one more unit of the same commodity. Okay, now what the law says is downward sloping of marginal utility curve. Okay, if you so what it says is, if you draw the marginal utility curve, that is the satisfaction level of the consumer, it will be downward sloping. Okay, now that downward slope, that marginal utility of commodity consistently decreases. We know it is downward sloping means it is decreases as the consumption increases after reaching a maximum level. So this marginal utility becomes negative and declines consistently. So when you are buying it initially, your satisfaction level will be increasing. Okay, increasing, and you are finally completely satisfied. So that will be okay. Let's get this. So initially you bought, you were thirsty, you bought some, your satisfaction level increased. Now it will continuously increase, but the thing that we are talking in this law is the rate. So initially rate at which the satisfaction increases is more, then satisfaction will increase but with less rate. Okay, then finally our satisfaction is done. Now our satisfaction will go into negative. Okay, so let's read it in here. So we can say MUX curve shows that marginal utility of commodity consistently decreases as its consumption increases. After reaching a maximum level, the marginal utility becomes negative. So let's see the graph here. Okay, no, this is the indifferential graph. Let me show you the marginal graph. Alright, so I added the graph. Initially when we bought, our satisfaction, this green is our marginal utility. Initially when we bought, our satisfaction was at the peaks, and then as we are consuming more and more, our satisfaction is decreasing, but we are satisfied. Now as we reached the like point 0 where our satisfaction is done, we are completely satisfied. Even after that, if we start consuming, then our satisfaction level will go, okay, will go in negative. So that is what law of diminishing marginal utility says. Now assumption in this law is rationality. So here consumer is rational, means he is clear with his decision and aims at maximizing his utility at a given income level. So this is our assumption that he is intended to completely buy the product until he is satisfied. Now next, the measurement of utility. So here we are assuming the measurement unit, that is util. Next we have constant marginal utility of money. So marginal utility of consumers income is constant. Here we can say for every penny that we are spending on a commodity, we are getting the same amount of satisfaction for every penny. Okay, now next is the homogeneity of commodity. So here when we are talking that the end user is going to buy one more unit, we are talking that he is going to buy one more unit of this similar type. Continuity means he or she is going to buy that continuously. Then only we'll see in the graph it is analysis based upon the continuity of buying of the same commodity again and again. Next and final is the ceteris paribus. So here factors such as income, taste, preferences, related goods of consumers remain changed. So we are assuming that he is rational, like his mindset towards the product is also changed. His preferences will not change in the short period. Okay. Next we have cardinal utility approach. So in this we can say as compared to marginal utility, like we had a unit for measuring, right? So similarly the same units we are going to use in cardinal utility. So they developed a unit of measuring utility called utils. So a consumer satisfaction can be calculated based on utils. So here consumer reaches equilibrium when last unit of his money spent on each unit of commodity yields the same utility. So this is what we are saying, constant marginal utility of money. Okay. Now next we have ordinal utility approach. So unlike cardinal where we have the measurement unit called utils, in ordinal we say that we cannot calculate the satisfaction of a customer for every product. Instead we can compare, or we can have this kind of things, like one product is good over other, like ice cream over soft drink. So this kind of comparison we can do, but we cannot have a specific measurement unit. Okay. Next we have indifferential curve. So indifferential curve means, okay, it can be defined as a locus of point each representing different combination of two substitutes which yield same level of utility to consumer. Okay, so what this means is, suppose we have two products, clothing and food, and when we buy clothing and food we have some satisfaction level, but our intention is to buy both clothing and food with the maximum possible level of satisfaction. So here we have a point which is saying that if let's suppose taking a point D. So what it is saying, if you buy 3 units of cloth and 4 units of food, you will have this much level of satisfaction. Now we want to maintain the same level of satisfaction by changing the units of cloth and changing the units of food. Like that, if we plot the graph, we will have a curve called indifferential curve. So in this curve we can see what are the different levels of satisfaction we can get by having different combinations of cloth and food. That's it, nothing more or nothing less. Next we have marginal rate of substitution, rate at which one commodity. So okay, what it is saying is, suppose you at point D you have 3 clothes and 4 food items. Now if you go to point C, you have 4 units of cloth and 3 units of food. So here for 1 unit of cloth you have left 1 unit of food. Okay, now if you go to from C to B, if you go from C to B, you can see number of units of cloth has been increased from 4 to 6, but number of food items has reduced from 3 to 2. So here for 2 units of cloth we are sacrificing 1 unit of food item. So the rate at which one commodity can be substituted with other, maintaining the same level of satisfaction, that is in the same IC curve, that is called as marginal rate of substitution. This formally we have studied previously as the difference between the original and then compared to the satisfaction level when we buy one more unit of commodity. That is fine. Okay, now you are clear, right? Next is our properties of indifferential curves. So this is one indifferential curve. So here initially we took, okay, so how we have measured here the utils. Okay, so here we have measured initial points assuming that this is our income and we can afford only this much for cloth and food combination. So we have given our some util levels. Now if util level increases, we will have one more IC curve, so which will have a different level of satisfaction and it will show different combination of cloth and foods. Similarly we can have multiple IC curve, that is indifference curve. So what it is saying that ICs are negatively sloped and convex to origin. Why it is negatively sloped means because here to get 1 unit of y axis we are sacrificing some unit of x axis and vice versa. So here because we are removing something we are going downwards, that is negative slope. Next we have higher IC represents higher satisfaction level. Yeah, that is self-explanatory. Then ICs do not intersect. If there are multiple IC means what? A satisfaction level. If there are multiple ICs intersecting means again it is the same satisfactory level, which is not possible. So ICs do not intersect. Criticism to indifference curve. So what we are doing in indifference curve is we are ignoring the behavior of consumers towards the market. Okay, then here we are considering only two commodities and we are ignoring the demonstration effects, like we have some preferences but because our neighbor or advertisement or something was demonstrated, because of them our preferences are getting changed. So that deviation also we are not considering. Then we have indifference towards risk and uncertain. So here what we are saying is no ability to analyze consumer behavior in the midst of the risk. So here exceptional behavior is coming into picture, so which is against what we have discussed so far. Then unrealistic assumption. So what it says is the law or the indifferential curve assumes that consumer is fully aware of his preferences, which is again not true every time. So now what is the use of IC curve, that we can understand once we see the concept of budget line. So concept of budget line says that it's a constraint or limitation faced by consumer in satisfying his want. Okay, whatever the jargons are there, just leave it is. So as we have said, for drawing or for generating one IC curve we need to tell what is our utility level. Okay, what is our satisfaction level. So as our satisfaction level increases or decreases, we will have one more IC curve. So that satisfaction level is given by the budget line, or we can say income. So as our income increases, our util or satisfaction level also increases. So that is what it's saying. The IC curve that we are expecting is limited by our satisfaction level, or we can say our budget line. IC represents taste and budget represent their limitation. Okay, budget constraint may be due to income or price of goods. Correct, self-explanatory. Then change in income or price will bring the change in the budget line. Exactly. So we have some satisfaction level, but it is restricted by some income level. But if the price of commodity or if there is a change in income, again we'll have a different satisfaction level and we'll have a different IC curve. Okay, now shift in budget line. So if you can see these curves, okay, which are downwardly sloped and convex to origin, are IC curve. Now this blue color line that we are seeing is our budget line, which says that if we put our complete budget on a product cloth, which is on y-axis, we'll get 40 units. And if we completely put our budget on the food items, which is on the axis, we can buy only 20 items. So that is how the worst case points are kept, and we have a slope drawn, we have a straight line drawn through them. Now we will see at what point it will be intersecting with the other IC curves. So here we can see first it is intersecting at IC3, then IC2, and IC1 it is okay. First it is intersecting at IC3, then IC1, and not intersecting with IC2. Means IC2 is out of our budget, and IC1 and IC3 are in our budget. Now compared to IC1 and IC3, which will be providing us more satisfaction level, IC1, right? So at IC1 we will choose the point which will be our equilibrium point. So we can, not equilibrium, we can say that point where our budget line is intersecting the maximum IC curve. That is our that means that point is going to satisfy our combination or our budget line by providing the maximum satisfaction level. Now shift in the budget line. If suppose okay, that will shift in budget line is affected by change in income or change in price of commodities. Let's see this graph. In this graph, if you can see, let's suppose our AB dash is the original let's say AC is our original budget line. Okay, now if the price of the food item, that is the item on the x-axis, is increased, so the capability of buying that will be decreased. So because the price of X is increased, we have moved from AC to AB. You remember B or C is nothing but if we put our complete amount on X item, that is the food item, how much quantity are we going to buy. So that is we have reduced from C to B because our income has because the price of the X commodity has increased, so we are able to buy less products. So that's why AC became AB. Now similarly, that was a price effect on X. Similarly, we have price effect on Y. Okay. Now if suppose A dash B dash is our budget line and our income is increased, so our satisfaction level will be increased. So because our income increased, if you want to buy only Y items, our A dash becomes A, and if you want to buy only X items, our B dash will become C. That is, when our income or utility level increased, we moved from A dash B dash to AC. Now this concept is very crucial because it is going to be used in various concepts. So that was our shift in the budget line. Now slope of the budget line determines how much quantity or commodity of Y a consumer ready to sacrifice to buy one more additional unit of X. Yeah, consumer equilibrium effect. So you have seen, right? We had the intersection of our budget line with the most satisfactory curve is IC1. So wherever it is intersecting, at that point we can buy 20 items of Y-axis and 10 items of X-axis. So income effect, just now we have seen. Similarly, substitution effect. So a substitution effect, what we can say, instead of buying X, we are going to buy X dash. So based on this, again our budget line is going to change and IC curve is going to be based on our budget line. IC point that we are choosing, instead of IC1, it might be moved to 2 or 3, anything. Next, the price effect, as we have explained already. Next is our utility maximization. So utility maximization means having the best possible satisfaction out of the given limitation, that is price and income. To maximize utility, individual tries to reach the highest possible IC curve, correct? And this occurs when IC is tangent to budget line. Okay, so if you can see, at this point the tangent of the IC curve and the budget line is same. So that will be our equilibrium point. This is called consumer's equilibrium or optimization. Yeah. Now revealed reference theory. We have seen this graph for the explanation of we can say the income effect and price effect on the IC and the budget line, but we have one more theory on this, which is revealed reference theory. So if you have a budget line AB dash and we have a equilibrium point, say Z, which is touching some IC curve, so below Z, okay, so if you can see, if we draw X and Y axis lines from Z, we will have something square like this. So if our point falls in this box, then we can buy this. So what revealed reference theory is saying is, based on our budget line and IC curves, when we are buying some commodity, it is easy to identify the customer preferences in different situations. So let me read this. This states that consumer preferences can be revealed by purchases they make under different income and price circumstances, correct? So here they are going to change the income continuously, or they are going to change the commodity X price or commodity Y price to see in different scenarios what the consumer is buying. Based on that, the theory says that the preferences of the consumers can be revealed. So yeah, that was our last concept. And in this consumer demand analysis, if you have any queries, please write down in the comment section. That's it for today. Thank you.